Hey guys, this is Mr. Geist for Algebra Unit 7 Final Exam Review. Remember to show all your work and to write your answers on the lines. So, number 1 says to categorize the following polynomials by degree and number of terms. So, if we're talking about number of terms, we talked about monomials, binomials, trinomial, and then after that was a polynomial, okay? So that's when we're talking about 4 terms, okay? Now, whoops, the AL didn't want to come with. Now, if we're talking about degree, okay, the words that we used for degree, we talked about constant, it's just a number, linear, oh, sorry, if it's just like a number, linear would be x squared, that would be quadratic, and then if it is cubed, we said that it was cubic, okay? So for number 1, A, I want to see, can I combine anything? No, okay? So I want to rewrite this in standard form, so it would be 5y squared plus 4y minus 7. My highest term, or sorry, my highest degree is squared, which means it's going to be a quadratic. And then there are 1, 2, 3 terms, so it's a quadratic trinomial. Okay? Now for B, I want to combine my like terms first. 2x squared minus 8x squared, okay? So I have the 6x cubed, that's first, it doesn't have a partner. And then that turns to a negative 6x squared. My highest term, or oh my gosh, my highest degree, come on, Mr. Geist, is that 3, which means it is cubic, and there are 1, 2 terms, so it's a cubic binomial. Okay, C. Combine your like terms. There are 2 sets of like terms here. 3w minus 8w is a negative 5w. And then 11 minus 11, those actually cancel. And so that's all we have. Now, my highest exponent, well, there's a 1 right there, and that's the only thing. So that means it's a linear, and there's only 1 term there. So it's a linear monomial. All right, next one. Find the sum or difference. So when we talked in class, we said it's very important to look at what operation we have. Now, in order to get rid of the parentheses, we would distribute, and we have positive 1s in front of here. But when we multiply by 1, do we change anything? No. So I can just rewrite this. Okay. And now I'm going to start looking for like terms. Now my negative 3m and my positive 3m, those cancel. Okay. 11m minus 5m is 6m. And then last we have the 8 plus 8, which is 16. So my final answer, we have 6m plus 16. Now for B, once again, we need to look at our operation. In front of the first one, I just have a positive 1, so nothing changes. 4w squared minus 7w minus 9. But now that I have a subtraction, that's really a negative 1, and I have to distribute the negative to everything. So that's a 5w, now it's a negative 5w. It's a negative 2, now it's a positive 2. It's a positive 3, now it's a negative 3w squared. Okay, and now we do the same thing. I'm looking for my like terms. 4w minus 3w is w squared. 7w minus 5w gives us negative 12w. And then our last, negative 9 plus 2 is a negative 7. Okay, so number 3 says find the area, the perimeter and the area of the shape below. So let's start with perimeter. Okay, with perimeter, I need to go through and add up all of the sides. Okay, so we have the 5x plus the 4x squared plus 8 plus the 3x plus 2. Okay, and all we have to do is combine our like terms. We only have, the only x squared is the 4, so we have 4x squared. 5 plus 3 gives me 8x. Sorry, I'm going to have to change that. I can't do green and yellow together. I'm sorry. Bears fan to the end. Okay, so the 5x plus the 3x right there gives us 8x. And then 8 plus 2 gives us 10. Now, they didn't tell us what the units were, but we have to assume there are some sort of unit. So I'm going to write my answer as 4x squared plus 8x plus 10 units. Okay, so for perimeter, we had to add up all the sides. Now for area, remember that it's 1/2 base times height. Okay, so area equals the 1/2. My base is the 3x plus 2, and my height is the 5x. Okay, so I would need to distribute this 1/2 just once into my first equation. So half of 3, well, that would be 3 over 2x plus the half of 2 is 1. And now we still have the 5x there. So I need to do 3 over 2 times 5. Okay, if you don't know it, grab your calculator. Help yourself out a little bit. So in parentheses, 3 over 2 times 5. Okay, and I want that as a fraction. So math, enter, enter, and that gives us 15 over 2. Okay, so area equals, I have 15 over 2. Remember, that's x squared. But now I have to do the 1 times 5. And 1 times 5 gives us 5x. Okay? So my area is 15 over 2 x squared plus 5x units, and area is going to be units squared. Okay. Number 4. So 4a, find the product. Remember that our exponent tells us how many of the bases we have. So it's not 9m squared and then 4 squared. It's 9m minus 4 times 9m minus 4. Okay? 9m times 9m gives me 81m squared. We're distributing to everything. 9m times negative 4 is negative 36m. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36m. And then our last one, negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. Okay? Go ahead and combine your like terms. We get 81m squared. Remember, negative 36 minus 36, they don't cancel. They would cancel if they were opposites, but they're the same. So we add them and keep the sign. And there we go. So our final answer is 81m squared minus 72m plus 16. Sorry, I'm just going to rewrite that so that actually looks like a 72. Okay, so now when we're getting to problems like B, we talked about doing the box method, just a way to help you stay organized. Some of you guys liked it, some of you didn't. If you don't like it, you would just go through and distribute everything, okay? But here, it's a way to do that, but organized. So I have n minus 2, and then we have 3n squared plus 5n plus 1. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is multiplying by the n. 3n squared times n would be 3n cubed. Remember, we add the exponents. 5n times n would be 5n squared. And then n times 1 would just be 1n. Okay, negative 2 times 3n squared would be a negative 6n squared. Negative 2 times 10 would be negative 10n. And then negative 2 times 1 would just be negative 2. Okay? And then you would come through here and combine your like terms, and your final answer would be 3n cubed minus 1n squared, because 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Negative 10 plus 1 would be a negative 9n, and then we're left with negative 2. Okay, 5. Now they're asking us to factor. So remember, the first thing that I notice is that it's kind of all out of order. So I'm just going to put it in standard form first. So the 8x cubed minus 40x squared plus 24x. And now I want to look for a GCF. Okay? 8, 40, and 24 are all divisible by 8. And then I also notice they all have an x. Now, the GCF does not disappear. That goes out front. And we're left with x squared minus 5x plus 3. Now, I want to see if I can factor this any further. So I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get to 3 and add to get to negative 5. And the only numbers that multiply to get to 3 are 1 and 3. But no matter what combination we try, that's not going to work. Okay? So our answer is 8x parentheses x squared minus 5x plus 3. All right, B. Is it already written in standard form? Yeah. Now, next question. Is there a GCF? No, no GCF. So, yeah, we have to multiply. I want numbers that multiply to get to negative 24 and add to get to 5. Now, anytime we're doing 24, I would recommend writing down all of the factors because there's a lot. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Okay? So which combination gets us to 5? Yeah, 3 and 8. But one of those has to be negative. Okay? So if it's a -3, it gets us to, it works, and then it works for the bottom two. Now, the nice thing is since our leading coefficient is 1, I can just break it straight down into our final answer. All right, last two. C. Is there a GCF? No. Okay, so we need to do 4 times 35. Okay, 4 times 35 is 140. Oh, sorry, you don't need that. Okay, so all of the factors of 140, I'm actually going to do it over here. Okay, we have 1 and 140, 2 and 70. Does 3 go in there? I don't know. No. 4, yes, 4 does because we just did it. So 4 and 35, it ends in a 0, so I know 5 goes into it. 140 divided by 5 is 28. 6, no. 7, well, 7 and 20. And then we got to check 8. I don't think it does. Nope. 9. Nope. 10, well, it ends in a 0. 10 and 14. And then that's it. Okay? So out of those, which ones multiply to get to negative 140 and A get to negative 23? Do you see it? Yeah, it should be 5 and 28 is the only way we get to a negative 23. But then the 28 has to be, yeah, 28 has to be negative. Okay? So let's go ahead and split the middle term. We have 4x squared plus 5x minus 28x minus 35. Okay? So what's the GCF of the first group? Yep, just an x. And then we're left with 4x plus 5. Okay, what goes into both negative 28 and negative 35? Yeah, you should get a negative 7, so the negative 7 comes out front. And we're left with 4x plus 5. They match, which is good. Then our final 4x 5. And then our other meal is the x minus 7. All right, last one. D. Okay, hold on, I bet you wish you guys could do this right here. Like, oh, I don't like how I wrote that. I'm just going to slide it over. Ta-da! Okay, D. Remember, the first thing we always check for is a GCF. Okay? They're both even, so I can take out a 2. And now we're left with 9m squared minus 16n squared. So what I'm left with is a quadratic binomial, okay? Which means I can do square roots. Now, my GCF does not disappear, okay? The square root of 9m squared is 3m. One's a plus, one's a minus. The square root of 16n squared, don't forget that's an n squared too, is 4n. So our final answer of 2, 3m plus 4, 3m minus 4. Okay? All right, guys, well, that's it for Unit 7, okay? Unit 7 in 20 minutes. Now, your homework is going to be the practice right back here And remember to do your final exam practice final as well. Okay? Now, if you have any questions or need extra help, please come find Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra Unit 7, Semester 2, Final Exam Review. Thanks for watching.